What is the worst advice you've ever received? Kick it to see if there are any more bees inside. There were plenty of bees still inside. A guy who was stalking me sent flowers to my workplace. I hadn't told him where I worked. A coworker of mine said that was such a sweet gesture, and I should break up with my long-term boyfriend and date this guy instead. In 1984 I was told by a friend's mom that computers were a fad, and that I shouldn't major in computer science in college. I ignored that advice. It was obvious even then this was a crazy take. On leaving a 40 hours a week consultancy job with 21 days annual leave, to go to a 37 hours a week client-side job with 28 days holiday, and with a pay rise. The boss said to me, "You don't make your career on your days off." Too right, mate. But what I will do is look after my young family and mental well-being. Be more careful this time. When I was pregnant after a miscarriage. Smile in your mugshot, because it's a picture that's gonna be out there forever. This can and will be used against you in a court of law. Prosecution. Exhibit A. The defendant's mugshot. This person is smiling. Does this look like the face of someone who is sorry? Someone who is remorseful? No. They are smiling despite the fact that they could have injured someone or worse. That is why we are seeking the maximum penalty. To show them that this is not something to be smiling about. I was 19, thinking about maybe going to college or getting a job in finance. My friend's mum said, "No, don't do that. You know where the real money is? Shops. Working in shops. No need to go to the doctor, it's just a little rash. It was Lyme's and I nearly died. Go on and get married. What's the worst thing that can happen? You are overreacting, they will change." Quote, "What you don't know won't hurt you. Former mother-in-law, if you love him harder he won't hit you. When I have a problem with someone my wife just tells me to shoot them and be done with it. If only. Don't break up with him. You're perfect together." Spoiler alert. We weren't. After my wife passed, a man told me that divorce is worse. Don't say anything to him, you don't want to start a fight, upset him. Thanks mom. Glad I finally said something to that loser. Edit. I have no clue how these awards work or how to say thank you, but thank you. I hope everybody speaks up in their relationships and advocates for their own happiness. Squad leader strongly urged me to break up with LDR girlfriend while in military. That girlfriend has been my wife for over 16 years now and I love her more each day. Check out Reddit. Relationship advice from my mum. She's manipulating you. My hella drunk mum, to me, about my wife, in front if my wife. Spoiler. She isn't. Spoiler 2. Mum didn't remember saying it. There are always other who has it worse than you, yes, Sherlock, but that doesn't make the thing that suck magically go away. Them. Oh, artistic_source. So you're feeling lost in life? Have a baby. Who is a celebrity you used to admire, but no longer do, and why? Jared Leto. Used to be a huge 30 Seconds to Mars fan, still loved the first 3 albums. And he seemed like a solid guy from the interviews I had seen back in the day. Over time though I started to realize how pretentious he is. Like he has some Bono complex, he sees himself like some profound artist who is changing the world. I used to admire Mitch Hedberg. I still do, but I used to, too. Bill Cosby. I'm not sure if those asking for, why, are being serious, but I'll go ahead and add it. Because I grew up with his comedy and The Cosby Show and absolutely loved him. When the accusations against him started to come out I gave him the benefit of the doubt for as long as I could. There was just too much evidence against him. Broke my heart. Eminem. I once waited for him with my little brother after a show for 4 hours in the blistering cold, and he just said no. That was pretty shitty, but I ain't that mad though. I just don't like being lied to. I met him once in Denver and he told me if I wrote him, he'd wrote me back. I know he got my last 2 letters. I wrote the addresses on them perfect. Hyde was my favorite character on that 70s show, but now Danny Masterson is a rapist Scientologist, so fuck that noise. Kinda not much of a celebrity, but this guy Ryan Haywood from the YouTube channel Achievement Hunter was like my favorite member growing up. He was funny, put on a villain persona a lot and seemed like a good father. Turns out he was a pedophile who used his fame to convince young fans to sleep with him. Bastard even used his money from his Twitch channel to pay for flights for them and hotel rooms when he told everyone all the money from his Twitch was going to his kids' college funds. James Corden. I used to think his self-deprecating style and his ingenuity with comedy and the carpool karaoke idea were great. Then I saw story after story from fan encounters where he is a complete and utter douche. Now that I know he's a fake, his shtick is unwatchable. Edit. As one responder pointed out, I forgot about the time he played the question game with Jimmy Kimmel and couldn't name 2 of his own cameramen. Edit 2. Apparently, Carpool Karaoke was ripped off from somewhere else, and he's not even really driving. So he's gone from douche to hack fake douche. Lol. Edit 2.1. As some users have pointed out, it's safer to film with a driving rig, so I won't hold that against him. He's back to just a hack douche. Ellen DeGeneres. I thought she was really wholesome, and watching her show used to make me feel warm and fuzzy, but then I started getting really soul-leeching sort of vibes from her, and now it just feels like she's using people. I'm sure it's always been like that. I mean, she's there to be paid to entertain people, after all. I'm sorry I don't have concrete examples, but I get real psychic vampire vibes from her, a la Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows. Lost Prophets fans win this thread. Mario Batali. Loved him as a chef. Seemed like a good guy, funny, jovial, decent. And don't get me wrong, he comes from a generation of dick chefs, so I expected him to have some skeletons in his closet. But sexual assault is a bridge too far. Joss Whedon. Loved his shows, his writing style, and the surface stuff like his stance on feminism were worth admiring, too. Turns out, he's at best, a complete prick. Surprised nobody mentioned O.J. Simpson. Superstar celebrity athlete and actor. Nobody could run through an airport like O.J. Loved him in the conspiracy movie Capricorn 1. Gwyneth Paltrow. I scrolled for a long time and was surprised not to see her name. Her bullshit pseudo-health, anti-vax information she spreads is terribly incorrect and cringe-worthy. It's sad how many people are actually influenced by it as well. Jeffree Star. I used to think he was really cool, he was super nice when I met him, for being self-made, not tolerating the haters, and his whole message about being yourself was so appealing to me. Then I found out about all the stuff he's allegedly done. Combined with how he doesn't take any accountability and shifts the blame around ruined him for me. I was an Elon Musk fan. Mass Effect is one of my favorite franchises, and I saw Elon and SpaceX as a way of achieving something like the future in Mass Effect. Later I learned that he basically just takes all of the fame from the engineers, pumps and dumps crypto, is an idiot, and exploits the fuck out of his workers. He's a garbage human being that should shut up, and leave the companies he has as they have potential beyond his smug face. I still like SpaceX and I think they will probably lead to our future in space exploration, but Elon is on top of my shit list, just like most if not all billionaires and millionaires. Especially the ones that are garbage to the people that made their company what they are today. James Charles. Any grooming situation honestly makes me sick. The fact that they were a part of it made me so angry. If anyone has any dirt on Keanu, Mr. Rogers, or Bob Ross, you just keep that shit to yourself. Drake. Guy puts out the same generic music year in, year out. And his advances on Millie Bobby Brown have me wondering if he's deliberately obtuse to the optics of the situation. Beyoncé. How all her songs were about woman empowerment and IRL she's paying Sri Lankan children pennies to make clothes and turning them into millions back home. Could never look at her in a different light after knowing this. I used to admire Kevin Spacey due to his phenomenal acting in movies. I no longer do, I think we all know why.